Hi there guys, Tom Quayle here. Hope you're all doing very well indeed. Now the reason I have a big smile on my face is because today is the last day I ever have to read comments like this on my YouTube channel. Because we have finally released Solo version 2 for Android users. Sorry it's taken so long, I apologise. This has been a long process, I won't go into the boring details for why, but finally you Android people are fully up to date with the iOS version. Exactly the same feature set, you've now got the notes trainer and the intervals trainer. You've got all of the features from the chord changes and scale trainer, and you've also got the custom chord changes piece as well as an in-app purchase if you want to produce your own chord changes to use within Solo. So in this video, what I want to do is go through the new features for you Android users and talk about some of the things that we've added in for version 2.0. Just so you know as well, you can see here on the phone, we've got a link to the Ultimate Fretboard Visualization course as well, which uses Solo to help you learn how to visualize the fretboard in an amazing, really great curriculum that David Beebe and I designed. It's a fantastic hours-long course that takes you from very little knowledge to being able to visualize the entire fretboard through pretty much anything really easily using the combination of our course and Solo. So now you Android users also can use that course very effectively because you've got the notes and the interval trainers in there as well. Now we are running a discount on that course to celebrate, and if you use the code Android50, that's the number 50, you'll see that code on screen now at checkout. When you enroll, you will get $50 off that course as a celebration of Android version 2.0. So, without further ado, let's have a look at the new features for you Android users and check out what we can do with the app now we've got version 2.0. So for anyone that doesn't know, Solo is developed by a company that I'm part of called Trio Software. That's myself, David Beebe, and our developer Mike Patti, who basically have come up with a fretboard visualization app that is like nothing else on the market. Essentially, the idea is it asks you to find what we call intervallic functions all over the fretboard. Now, if you don't know what intervallic functions are, I've put a link down below to a video which will explain that for you. But essentially what you're doing is you're finding notes related to the root note of either a chord or a particular scale, and those notes might be like the 5 of the scale, or the 6 of the scale, or the 3, or the 5th of a particular chord, or the 7th of a particular chord. And Solo asks you to find those on screen against a particular root note or chord, and it listens to what you're playing, and it understands what you're playing, and it won't move on to the next note until you've found the one it's asking for. And it's a bit like gamification. It knows and shows you when you found the correct note, so it's kind of cool. Now, when we released version 1, we didn't have a way for you guys to learn where the notes were on the fretboard, or we did, but it was kind of a hack, and we weren't working on individual intervals or intervallic functions, as we call them. So in version 2.0 that we released for iOS, we added those features, and now you Android users have those too. So you will see that there are 4 tabs along the bottom. This mirrors the iOS version. We have the notes trainer, we have the intervallic functions trainer, which works on individual intervallic functions like the 3, the flat 3, the 5, the flat 5, the 6, whatever. You can choose which ones you want to work on. We have the changes trainer, which was already there, but there's some new features, and we have the scale trainer. Okay, so again, there's some new features on the scale trainer as well. So let's go back to the notes trainer, and this is where everyone should start their journey with Solo. Effectively what this does, it's going to ask you to find randomized notes on the fretboard, and it's going to ask you to find them if you put practice suggestions on just here within very specific parts of the guitar. Now, when you start out, what's going to happen is it's just going to ask you to find individual notes like this. It's going to say, I want you to find a G sharp, and above you can see it says, try finding all notes on the lowest 3 strings, E, A, and D. So it wants me to find a G sharp on the lowest 3 strings. There's one just here, and if I play it, it's going to highlight that I've found it and move on to the next note. You can see it's just sat there. Now I'm using an audio interface at this point. You could use the microphone as well. So G sharp. Well, if I play an A, you can see that nothing happens. If I play a G, nothing happens. But if I play a G sharp, it knows I've played G sharp and it moves on to the next note. Now it's asking for D, and I could play D here at the 5th fret of the A string. And we continue. F. All of these notes are on the lowest 3 strings. B. Now these are only suggestions at the top here, so if I did play a G somewhere else on the guitar, it's still going to recognize I played a G. These are just suggestions to allow you to practice. So if I played this G at the 12th fret of the G string, let's say I played the wrong note, nothing, let's play the G. Works, brilliant, okay? Now at any point within the notes and interval trainer, I can slide and bring on a fretboard here. Now, if I get stuck and I cannot work out where E is, I can tap on the fretboard, and it will show me where all of the E's are between the open string and the 12th fret, okay? So I can see that I have an open E. I can see that I've got one just here at the 2nd fret of the D string. Let's play that one. And you'll notice that the note turns grey to show that I've found it, and I can see where those notes are on the fretboard. Now what I can do is tap to find the next note, and it wants me to find a G flat. Now if I know where a G flat is, I'm going to play one, and you notice the note turns grey and all the notes that are G flats light up on the fretboard. Really, really useful. So you can choose which way around you want to do this. If you get stuck, you tap on the fretboard. If you know what you're doing, you can play the G flat, and then you can confirm where all the other G flats are by using the fretboard. That can be swiped off screen just like the iOS version, like that, and you can continue. So tap to continue, A flat, A, C, so on and so forth, D sharp. Now if I hold down on the screen, it's going to exit the workout here. I can link to the Ultimate Fretboard Visualization course as well. We have to advertise ourselves, no one else will for us, so we've got the link through there. I can also put the fretboard on at the beginning to make sure it's already there when I start the workout, and I can set my workout duration. So by tapping on here, I can choose, do I want a 1 minute workout, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever I want to do, and the workout will automatically end after that amount of time. So we'll set this to 5 minutes. If I tap on here again, I'm going to get a different practice suggestion. So now it says, try finding all notes on the highest 3 strings between frets 7 and 11. Okay, so I can work through F, C. I want the highest 3 strings. There's one here. I'm going to go here, D flat, so on and so forth. So you can work through all of the different notes on the fretboard in that way. Again, swipe the fretboard on screen, tap to see where the note is, long press to exit. So as I say, we recommend everybody starts with the note trainer and you learn to find notes really intuitively all over the fretboard, just, subconsciously, effectively. When you're good with the note trainer, you can tap on the interval trainer. Now the intervallic functions here, what's going to happen is you're going to select a series of intervallic functions that you want to work on, and then a root note from which you want to find those intervallic functions. And that root note can be random. You can see here I have random selected. Let's select a root note first. So you can see we've got all of the different root notes available here with all of their own harmonic equivalents. So you will see, for example, we've got D sharp and E flat, or C sharp and D flat. We even have things like E sharp or F flat, so if you're in particular keys that require those notes, you can actually utilize those no problem. Let's select C. And now we need to select some intervallic functions. So again, if you don't know what they are, watch the video down below. There's also a video within the solo app. If you tap on help here, you will find, a video, what are intervallic functions? So you can watch that video, okay? So let's go back to the intervallic functions trainer or interval trainer. So we have a C root note. When we tap on intervallic functions, we get all of our different possible intervallic functions here. So you can see flat 2, 2, sharp 2, flat 3, 3, 4, sharp 5, sharp 4, so on and so forth. They're all available right up to a 13. So all we do here is we select which intervallic functions we want to work on. And there are 2 ways of doing this. You can either do this manually, so you can say, okay, well, I want to work on 3s, 5s, and 7s. Oops, 7's there. Okay, or what you can do is you can deselect them like this, or you can select from one of our presets. So you tap on presets just here, and we get chords and scales. So let's say we wanted to work on a particular chord type. So we wanted to work on major 9. And it's going to select all of the intervals from our major 9 chord for us. So we tap on chords, we go major chords, and then we select major 9. And there we go. It's automatically selected all of the intervals that make up a major 9 chord. Really, really useful. So now I can either clear all or I can select all. I don't want to do that. That's another feature that we can do though. And we can also turn on find root note first. Now, find root note first means that we're always going to be asked to find the 1, or in this case C, before we find any other interval. So we're going to leave that on for now, but we can turn it off. Tap the back button here. And now we're almost set up to go. We need to select a duration. Okay, we'll just leave that as it is. Find root note first can also be switched on or off from this screen as well. And then we have the show fretboard feature that we had from the note trainer as well. Now, I'm going to leave that off for now and just tap start workout. And you can see we have a C root note. And it wants me to find the 1 and the 7. It wants me to find the 1 because I had show root note first, find root note first on. If that was switched off, I'd only be asked to find the 7. So I could visualize the 1, I could still play it, but it's looking for the 7. So in this instance, it's randomly selected the 7 as the intervallic function that I want to find. And that's because the intervallic functions we picked were 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, which make up our major 9 chord. Okay, so my first task is to find a C. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play C here at the 5th fret of the G string. And you notice that 1 turns grey to show that it knows I've found the 1. Now it wants me to find the natural 7 for C. Now I know that there are a few different ways I can play that. Now if you don't know where these are, what you can do is again swipe and tap on the fretboard. And there you will see all of the C root notes with a 1 on them. And you will see all of the 7s with a 7 on. And you can see that there's lots of patterns that occur. So for example, this C, the 7 is a fret or a semitone below. It's also up a string and up 2 strings and up a fret. You can learn all of these positions and patterns. Now again, if you want to check out our course, the Ultimate Fretboard Visualization course, we teach you all of these patterns and your task is to learn them, and we show you how to learn them using the app. Really, really powerful. But for you guys who are just checking out solo for the first time and you don't have access to the course, you can use the fretboard here to study where these intervallic functions are in relation to the root note. So I played this C here. I can play it again, that's no problem. Solo will just wait until I play the 7 before it moves on. So in this instance, I know the 7 is a semitone below, and I'm going to play it. There you go. It's gone grey. That means I've found it. And now I can tap the screen to go to the next interval. Now it's asking for the 1 and the 9. Now if I'm super confident, I can just work in this mode without the fretboard. 1, 9. 1, 3. I can play them ascending, descending, whatever I want to do. 1, 9. But if I get stuck at any point, again, bring the fretboard on, tap to locate where the 1 and the 7 are, and I can utilize that to help me out. Okay? Now in this instance, tap again, 1 and 5. Now if I can't find the 5, I could tap on the screen, but if I know where it is, just like the note trainer, when I found both notes, it's going to show me where they are on the fretboard, and I can tap to progress. Okay? Now, if I don't want to tap to progress, what I can do is I can, on here where it says show fretboard, if I turn that on, I get another option called advance to next note. What I can do here is I can tap on here and say, well, actually, I don't want to have to tap the screen each time I find each of the notes. I want you to wait for 2 seconds so that I can study the fretboard and then move on to the next note. So if I tap Start Intervallic Functions Trainer, workout, it wants me to find the 1, and then, oh, we just had the 1 and the 1. So again, it's moved on, 1 and 5. There we go. Then it finds another interval, so 1 and 7. And this way you can work a bit faster. Let's go to a different C. We can keep working through like this, basically. Now, at any point, you can come in here and you can choose a different set of intervallic functions or a different preset. Let's choose a scale. So let's reset everything. We'll do clear all. We'll select a preset in here, go to scales. Let's say I want to work on one of my melodic minor scales. Let's work on Dorian flat 2, and it's pre-selected all the intervals here. I can back out of here and work on those intervals, and I could potentially randomize the root note as well, or select a different root note. Let's go with a random root note. And now I'm working on all the intervallic functions for the Dorian flat 2 scale, but my interval root note location, as in which root note I'm visualizing from, is going to change. So as I come in here, now we've got an A, it wants me to find 1 and 6, 1, 6, and it'll randomize the root notes. We've got F sharp now, 1 and flat 7, but these are all intervals from just the Dorian flat 2 scale, so very, very powerful. And again, if you want to get the course, we talk you through all the different ways that you can work with these 2 new powerful trainers to really get to grips with visualizing the fretboard with simple things or even the most complex of things. Now, when you move on to the changes trainer, now we've got some new features in here for you guys as well. The first very simple one is that when you've selected a chord sequence, whether that's one that you've created yourself or one of the built-in chord sequences, let's come into the chords here and let's select one of the built-in exercises. So we'll scroll until we get to exercises here. Let's select major 7 chord. What we can do now is we can randomize the key every time the exercise or chord progression repeats, which we couldn't do in version 1. So you can see here I have this new feature, randomize key on repeat. So with these single chord exercises now, or the 2-5-1s, or some of the more common chord progressions, every time where previously you would cycle through the circle of fifths, which was very repetitive and easy to predict, now it will randomly change the root note each time the chord is regenerated or the chord progression is regenerated. So as I work through this now, let's select just root and third here in the levels. Now C major 7, you can see underneath we're going to get a D major 7 next. So we've got 1 and 3. Now D major 7, 1, 3. Oh, sorry, G major 7, 1 and 3. Then D major 7, 1, 3. Now E sharp major 7, that's an interesting one. That's like enharmonically equivalent to F, so 1 and 3. E flat, 1, 3. So on and so forth, 1, 3. So that's really, really powerful. And that will also work with longer chord sequences as well. So if you would select something like All the Things You Are or 26-2, any of the jazz standards that are built in, they will also randomize their key. They'll transpose to a new random key every time you get to the end and they repeat, which is super, super powerful. Now, the biggest new feature for the Changes trainer that we've brought in is your ability to create custom chord progressions. Now, this is an in-app purchase. So the way that works is if you tap on your chord selection here, you'll now find a new blue plus button down in the bottom right. And if you tap on that, you will be able to explore this feature even if you haven't purchased the custom chord changes feature just yet. You'll be able to make your own chord progressions, but you won't be able to use them within the app. But you'll be able to save them, so you can check out the feature first. First thing we need to do is put a name in. So we tap in there, and let's say we call this, just for the sake of argument, to keep this very simple for me because I'm at an awkward angle on my phone, let's call this tune 1. Or I can only see 2, so I'll just put 2. Now select your key. Okay, we'll do this in C major, so we'll just default this to C major. Now what we do, press the tick button and press the blue plus again to start adding our chords, and you have this keyboard down the bottom that guides you through the chord creation process. So let's say the first chord I wanted to put in was an A major 7 sharp 11. So what I can do is A, okay, that's our A root note at the top, major, that's the triangle, 7, and then I look for the sharp 11, and that's it. It's in there, A major 7 sharp 11. Now if I want to add another chord, I tap on add another chord, and we're on the second line, and you can see that Solo has selected the most appropriate scale to fit with that chord. Now we'll come back to that in a second. Let's say the next chord I want to put in, so I've put this chord in, A major 7 sharp 11. Let's say I now want G sharp minor 7. Let's do G sharp minor 7. Okay, add another chord, and you can see that Solo has chosen the Dorian scale for that particular chord. If you want a different scale, so when you're picking your intervallic functions over that chord, if you want a different scale, let's say you want Aeolian so that you get a flat 6, then you can do that. Just tap on the scale here and select Aeolian. Okay, now tap on the chord again and do add another chord. So let's say the next chord I want to put in, by the way, I realize this chord progression is not in the key of C, but I'm just showing you random chord progressions you can put in. So let's say we want to do F13 sus 4, or F sharp 13 sus 4. Let's do F sharp 13 sus 4. Okay, there we go. Add that in and it should pick Mixolydian. There he has. Okay, and we'll put one more chord in. Let's put that chord in. So A, 13, sus 4, flat 9. Okay, and then if we close, because those are all the chords we want to put in, you can see our 4 chords there, and then we hit save. Now what we can do, we called this tune 2. We will scroll until we get to tune 2. Let's keep going. It's quite hard for me to see because of the angle that I'm at here. Tune 2 is there, and it says custom next to it. Okay, so we can see our custom chord changes because they've got custom next to them. If we tap the custom button up here, we can see all the chord progressions we've put in. Tap it again. Okay, so let's tap custom, select tune 2, and then the level that we want to work on. So let's say we do root, third, and fifth. And now Solo will use your custom chord progression to work on, particular sets of intervallic functions against, and all the levels will work as well, as you'd expect. Now, a couple of other things really quickly. You can also export and share your custom chord progressions, and that will be between iPhone users or Android users. You guys can share chord progressions with each other. So if you swipe from right to left on the chord progression, you will see these 4 buttons. The pencil lets you edit the chord progression. The bin lets you delete the chord progression. And then you've got your share and duplicate. So duplicate obviously creates a copy of that existing chord progression. So you can change maybe a couple of chords and save it somewhere else. So if we hit the share here, we can see we share the file, and we can share that file via email or onto like a Google Drive or Quick Share if you've got another Android device or a PC, a Windows PC that's set up to do Quick Share as well. Send it to whoever you want to, and then the other user can just basically load that file into their custom chord progressions. So if, for example, you've got a student that you want to work on a particular chord progression with, or a bandmate that you've written a chord progression and you want them to be better at soloing over it or be able to visualize well, then you can do that. So if we just come out of there, the other thing you can do is with the existing chord progressions, let's say, for example, you've got a really cool like substitution for all the things you are, and you want to put that chord progression substitution into all the things you are and practice it. What you can do is, again, swipe from left to right and duplicate all the things you are, and you get a custom version of that. Then you can come in and you can press the pencil icon and edit that chord progression however your heart's desire. So for example, one thing I like to do is this E flat 7 here. If I tap on it, I like to change that chord, if I delete the 7, to an E flat major 7 sharp 5. So where is my sharp 5? Just there, okay? And then if I close, you can see that that change has been made. So the third chord there now is E flat major 7 sharp 5 instead of E flat 7. So the biggest difference here within the scale trainer now is the addition of duration as well. Just like the notes and intervallic functions trainer, you now have duration, so you can select a particular duration for your workouts. Everything else is very similar. It all operates as you'd expect. You've got all the same scales in there. You've got the root note, and you can randomize the root notes. All of those features are the same. The only other things that have changed with the app is that now your settings are up here as opposed to down below. So you've got all your settings, and in settings here, we have added some new instruments. So you now have some extra instruments, including fourths tuning for you guys who are tuning like me out there. So check those new instruments out. And in the help, we've now matched this to the iOS version. So you've got all the same help videos, and you can link out to the other videos that we've put together for using audio interfaces, for some tips on using each of the trainers, so on and so forth. And of course, you've got the link to the course again. So that is Solo version 2.0 for Android users. I am again very sorry it's taken so long. We are a very, very small business. There's only 3 of us working part-time. Also check out My App Metric Flow on the App Store. You'll find a link down to that below if you want to work on your rhythmic vocabulary. Really hope you guys enjoy this. Please do check out the course. Again, you will find the link to it just here on the Notes Trainer. And again, the Android 50, that's the number 50, so Android 50 will get you the discount of $50 on that course to celebrate the launch of version 2.0. Really hope you guys find it useful. It is a fantastic practice tool. Please do leave us ratings and reviews on the App Store and on Google Play. You iOS users have got all this functionality as well. And as I say, the course, the Ultimate Fretboard Visualization course, now works beautifully for both Android and iOS users. You are now fully up to parity. Hit the like and subscribe buttons below, and of course hit the bell notification icon to make sure you never miss any more of my videos. If you do want to support me further in everything that I do on this channel and just generally, of course check out the lesson links down below. For a short period of time in November, I am also running 25% off on all of my lesson materials, and you will find the code for that down below as well. All right guys, thanks for watching. My name's Tom Quayle, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.